We're good.
Oh, got it. All right. All right, I'll do my intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Rad Movement on the YouTube. I am here today with my always partner, sometimes co-host Chad, and his lovely wife in the background, Megan. But yeah, so today we're just going to kind of, do a little catch it up episode with me and Chad. And Chad now has COVID. So
Yay.
yeah. So kind of share a little bit of that experience, with losing your mom to COVID now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something else. 'Cause as if you've watched at all recently or you followed your page at all, the last end of last year was pretty rough. My mom passed away due to COVID. It hit her really hard. And I think what was it, a span of like a month? Since when I told you she got it when it got bad and then she passed, it was a span of like a month. I know the last episode that we did was pretty hard. Like the episode on it was pretty hard to watch because it was got real glitchy. Which is sucks because that was such a good heavy hitting episode for me.
Yeah, it really was, dude.
But yeah, she passed away due to COVID, and then we went to Chicago to get Megan's gastric bypass. And our first day there, I had seen this like artisanal ice cream shop, and I was like, "Cool, I'll take Cora there to get some ice cream. It's our first night here." And we go and we're sitting there 30 seconds into eating ice cream. I took this picture. All of us just sitting there eating our ice cream, and then we got a call that our house caught fire on our first day in Chicago. Which I'll go into that here in a little bit. But the experience with COVID, when I first found out that I had it, I didn't think that I had it. It was Friday and we had this whole weekend planned. We were supposed to go to Universal. We had a hotel at like one of the Universal's hotels booked, and then we were supposed to go to SeaWorld. Whole big weekend planned for Cora. She was excited, and then I tested myself just out of, didn't want to risk getting anybody else sick if I did have it, because I was a little bit stuffy and I was a little bit achy. Like when you have like a slight fever, that ache, just a little bit. So I tested positive. Fuck. Tested myself again with another test. Positive. Fuck. I guess we had to have her call and cancel it. All of our stuff that we had planned. And it was scary because thinking about it and thinking how hard it hit my mom, and I'm staying in her room. This is her room where she got it, where she got real bad before she got put into the hospital. So just thinking about that, and yeah, it's heavy, but thankfully, so far so good.
Well, are you vaccinated?
Yeah, I got the 2 and the booster.
Okay.
Or as Megan would yell, she's probably shaking her head back there. I called it a booster instead of a third vaccine.
So do you feel like that definitely helped you, with staving off the symptoms and whatnot?
I think that it did. I think the best analogy for the vaccine, and I don't want to go too much into it because I know some people are super against it, some people are super for it. To each your own.
Right.
For me, my best analogy is like you're giving your body. Think of your body as like a big building, and you have a security around it. You're giving security a picture of who not to let in, and if they do get in, how to get them out or how to prepare for them. So when it does get in, it knows what to do.
That is absolutely the best analogy for it that I've ever heard. Yeah, so I know, so it had to be emotional. On top of just already staying in your mom's room, that's got to be,
yeah,
something emotional.
Yeah, and her boyfriend had come over, and we sat out there talking because he came to get the camper. They went camping on New Year's weekend, and we sat there talking. And I was like, well, when my abuela passed away, and for those that don't speak Spanish, that's my grandma on my dad's side. She's full Spanish. She's my abuela. Um, when she passed away, me and Megan had expressed interest to my dad about, we'd like to buy the house. And I guess all the other boys had asked about it too. And they said they didn't want to go back to it. They just wanted it to be done and gone. And I was like, okay, I don't, it's whatever. But now I get it now. It's like, just want to be out and done and not have to come back.
Right. Dude, I commend you, man. Like you're going through a very transitional time, and you're holding on. Like I know you probably have the moments. We all have the moments, man.
Yeah.
But like you're holding on and you're doing a great job. So I don't know if you needed to hear that or if it helps, but you're doing killer, man. Keep it up.
The health
And
OCD,
I'm proud.
the health OCD's been acting up. But I probably have to call and schedule my reschedule my visit to be a televisit, but I have a therapist now, so I can talk to her about it
That's awesome.
instead of
That's
bugging Megan back there for reassurance that I shouldn't be asking for.
so you're doing the stuff you need to do to stay healthy and happy, which
Yeah,
is,
trying.
I mean, that's all we can ask for, man. So now, all right, how are the physical symptoms? Like, are you in a bad spot with it physically? Because
No,
as we've been talking over the past few days, like it seems like you haven't been like, man, this sucks,
no. I like the worst I had was I had a little bit of aches, and today the cough has been a little bit worse. But I mean, we've been sitting here for all of like what 5-10 minutes now, and I've coughed once or twice.
Right.
It's funny. The doctor that I did when I found out I was positive, I called my doctor's office to set up a televisit with one of the doctors there because my doctor wasn't available. But the guy that I got was working from home, also doing a televisit, and he goes, "Well, there's a reason why I'm working from home because he had COVID too."
Shit.
And he's like, "Well, thankfully you got the vaccine, so you had the same symptoms as me. You're coughing a little bit, and you're a little congested, but other than that, you're fine."
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not vaccinated, and when I had it hit me pretty hard. Not as hard as it could have. The fatigue was the worst part for me.
Yeah,
I was shocked at how like just drained I was. Are you going through a lot of fatigue too?
no, not at all. Like
Right.
the first day I was all congested. I didn't even know it. Like I was outside playing with Cora. We were playing hide and seek and sorry, excuse me, tag, because that's my evening exercise is getting her to run around the yard with me because I can't ride my bike over here. So I'll just sit there and run around with her, play hide and seek, and oh, when you find me, you gotta tag me. So I'll just run around the yard having her chase me. But yeah, I wouldn't. I didn't have any fatigue really, just a little bit of ache and some cough.
Man, good times.
Well, not good times, but could be worse times.
Right, yeah. Better times than it could be. How about
Exactly.
that? So what else you been going through lately?
This house shit. Thank God I got a personal adjuster because when we were up there, before we even came back down, the insurance company was already trying to get people in there to start doing stuff. And I
Mhm.
was like, I want to be there to see what they're doing. So you can't wait a week for us to get back down there. So they had hired
Right.
a team to come out and take like the electronics and the fabrics to try and refurbish them. And when I got back down there, it was like, I need you to bring those electronics back because I didn't sign off for you to take them. And well, I got my personal adjuster took a lot of the stress off because I was getting call after call after call after call after call. And eventually I just changed my voicemail to say, if you're calling about the insurance claim, call this number. It's my personal adjuster. Call stopped. Because once they know they have a personal adjuster, they're supposed to go through them. I mean, they get
Okay.
their cut and they get their fee, but it's worth it. And you get more money in the long run
Yeah.
anyway. But trying to get a contractor out there to fix everything, like the first day that we were out there, like not the first day, but the first or second inspection that we did, the bedroom is now down to studs and the ceiling is all gone. cabinets are gone. It's bare bones right now, but we found termite damage in our room. And they were saying it's a blessing in disguise, that way you don't lean on the wall one day if there was no fire, you fall through the wall because of the termite damage, or the wall just falls off altogether. So now I got to find somebody who can fix the termite damage and the fire damage, and then like just rebuild everything. And trying to find somebody to do everything is, I've already seen like 2 or 3 people. The one guy that I mentioned to you, he was like, I can't, it's not covered under my license. I can't do what needs to be done. So here's this other guy. He came out and I didn't vibe with him at all. So it's like, okay, I'll call you. Bye. So then I got like 4 other people I got to call. Trying to get that done is super stressful.
Well, yeah, especially like everybody needs shit done right now. And with COVID stuff, it's been really hard for anybody to get shit done.
That
So,
material shortages too.
Right. Dude, we were just at Publix tonight. And for those of y'all that don't live in Florida, it's a grocery store.
It's awesome grocery store.
Yeah, dude, the walls, the shelves were like so empty. So I make a fruit and veggie smoothie every morning, and celery is like one of my main ingredients. No celery, none. Ooh. Dude, none. So I bought some cucumbers instead, but still, like, it's just really weird not being able to buy fucking celery, dude. Like,
like we went to Aldi tonight because Cora's been on a charcuterie kick, thanks to Donna. And
Donna can't have charcuterie now because she's pregnant.
Yeah. And Megan went into Aldi's and she's like, well, there's a apparently for the meat stuff, they're on back order. There's a shortage of it. So we couldn't get any of the meat stuff.
Oh man, it's insane what is happening in the world in so many different ways. And everybody says this at their own time, right?
Yeah.
Like the world is always doing wacky shit. Things are always changing. Things are always different than they were, whatnot. But like, it's really insane seeing this shit, dude. Yeah. Like in real time. This is shit that's going to be in the history book, like for real.
Yeah, there's going to be like the Spanish flu is for our generation. It'll be for the next one.
Right, dude. Like this whole like mass genocide disease type thing. Like what the fuck?
I mean, even back then there was anti-vax and anti-mask people too. So it's just how we operate as people.
Right. The thing is, I want to know if the history books are going to talk about the toilet paper.
I mean, they're going to have to, because that was the first thing that came up when everything kicked off. When we moved back down here in the middle of it, like the whole toilet paper shortage, we had like 3 or 4 big things of it just because we had it before it even started. You keep it stocked. I opened the back of the U-Haul here because we stayed here before we moved into our house, and I told my mom and my grandma, look, I got the white gold, and it's just toilet paper.
Dude, it's insane, man. Fucking insane.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And I mean, the media doesn't help it either. They start showing people buying toilet paper, so people are going to fear buy it, and it just amplifies from there. Yep.
One of my favorite parts about that was like seeing the guys getting caught on the internet for like price gouging alcohol and sanitizer.
And trying to play the victims. Yeah.
It was nice to see those people get arrested. Like it was good, or cease and desist to whatever level. Like, man, first off, the alcohol isn't going to do anything. Second off, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's really weird.
There was like guy, I don't know where it was. I think it was Kentucky or whatever. But he went out to the store and he just kept buying everything. And then eventually, they told him he couldn't, price gouge it and try and sell it on his own. So he's trying to play the victim, like, I gotta sit on all this stuff. You bought it. You tried to take advantage of a fucking pandemic.
And it's weird too, because like price gouging is supposed to be legal, but it doesn't really seem that way. But that's a totally different conversation for a totally different podcast. So what's going on now?
Now it's just trying to get through COVID, and once we finally test negative, like we can start setting fun stuff up and doing shit again. I can
Yeah.
reset up my whole weekend. I can start meeting with contractors again because right now that's on a standstill. I can't go meet with them to have a look at the house because COVID. I was supposed to meet somebody this week to go look at the house and see if they can start working on it for me. But that's on a standstill right now.
Damn.
And then we're
So
trying to
you have,
go ahead,
what's
sorry.
up? I was just gonna say, you having any work done at the house?
Nothing's been done yet because I got to find somebody that can fix the termite damage before they do anything else. Because that's framework. I can't put up drywall until I fix the framework.
Right, right. Shit. Well, if anyone's watching that does framing in Melbourne, Palm Bay, Brevard County, Florida, hit us up.
The rad
Because
rad paranormal at gmail.com.
the Chad could use your help. But yeah, dude, it's just wild. It's wild where we're at right now. And how I'm in this weird like mindset where I'm just, I guess optimistically, I'm just hoping COVID's gonna go away, like everything else just kind of like dissipates. And a lot of it has dissipated, but like then, one of your great friends gets it, and
Yeah.
then Bob Saget dies probably because of hookers and cocaine. Like life's weird, man. Life's weird.
We
I'm
lost
not
Betty. We lost fucking Betty White at the end of last year.
right, dude. It's just it's crazy. And then to find out after Bob Saget dies, I find out that he was a pedophile. I didn't know that.
I didn't
So
even
like,
hear that anywhere.
what's that?
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, it's it's a counterculture thing that's coming out. Like people are like, "Yo, why are you mourning this dude? He's a piece of shit. He's a pedophile." I'm like, "Whoa."
I'll have to look into it. I didn't hear any of that yet.
Yeah, I've heard a little about it from Donna, but yeah, it's just life is a really, 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 really weird ride, man. One of our artists is his father's got some crazy tumors going on in his brain, so
Mm-hmm.
he's got to go and be with the family. Like another artist has cancer, like another artist has crazy fucking back problems. Like it's just insane to see how much adversity everyone has to deal with. I think for me, going through losing my leg, I was so self-centered because I was focused on my shit that now I'm like really starting to see and feel all the things that everyone else is going through around me. And I'm like, holy shit, man, this is a really weird life. Like I say it, it's so often, but like it never stops getting more weird.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just hoping it picks up and gets better. It's been a pretty shit run so far. For like the last since September, it's been a pretty shit run.
I know it'll get better for you, man. It's just, and it's weird because like it's not just been all bad because you had Megan's surgery and like that's
Mm-hmm.
been life changing. That's been awesome for her.
But it's like
And
we were just talking about before we even got on. She's lost like 66 pounds.
yeah, that's amazing. In what, a month or two?
September of last year, end of September.
Okay,
So
so like
October,
3 months.
November, December, January. So like 4 months total.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's insane. Like that's I can't believe it's been that long. First off, that's insane. Like holy shit. I thought it
Yeah.
was like a month ago. But like, you got to be a part of that. And then
Mhm.
you got to have your daughter experience, a city that she'd never been to before with you and her.
Yeah. I mean,
And I'm like,
honestly, I'll say it with Chicago too. It's like that's probably the only big city that I'll gladly go back to visit again. Like I've done big cities like DC and Baltimore, and I hated them. I hate big city, but Chicago, we stayed. They put us up in like the Zachary, which shout out to the Zachary. It's probably one of the best hotels I've been in. It's like this fancy hipstery hotel, and we were right across from Wrigley Field, so I could look out the window and see Wrigley Field downtown and all this cool shit. going up and down the strip, just get hitting all these mom and pop food shops. I told Megan, I thought it's funny they sent you to one of the food capitals of the US for your gastric bypass surgery.
Yay.
And that was like really shortly after my mom had passed. And for anybody that did watch that episode, I got my memorial tattoo, which is a camper, and it's like a camping scene because she was big into camping and she loved her camper. They had a camper themed restaurant called the Happy Camper. Like there's this big neon camper, there's like a whole wall, and like with like sequins that shimmer and change color every time the wind comes by. And you go in and there's like this big camper with like the shirts and shit in it. It's just camper everything in there. So me and Cora went there one day for lunch. I mean, it's like a sign, like, come here.
Was it what kind of experience was that for you emotionally?
We walked by it, and it was to me, it was just like a sign that the universe sends you things, you see things, and the universe said that it wants you to see.
Yes. Yeah. See, I'm just thinking like, what a sad sack of shit I would be, being like, oh, Cuban restaurant. Oh, my dad. Like, so I'm proud of you for being able to hold it together, man.
I was having a rough time. There's my OCD. If you've watched that episode, my OCD was pretty hardcore going in. Like we went to Target there, and I don't know why, but it set my anxiety off. Because you walk into Target, I'm thinking Target familiar. Target's down here. There's a big building, right? But over there, it's that same size but flipped up. So I don't know why. Just seeing it so different set off my anxiety, and I had to stop for a minute, breathe, and collect myself because it's with her passing, it was in panic attack mode. It was coming down off that initial panic attack I told you about and what I talked about in the last time. So anything could like trip it up.
So talk more about your health OCD right now. I mean, you cool with that? Like,
yeah, no, that's fine.
All right. I don't want it to be triggering or anything.
No, it's still triggered, so it's fine.
Right.
Well, it's not fine, but it is what it is.
Well, I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So like with OCD, it's like the worst case scenario, everything in your head. And for me, the worst case scenario is like cancer, right? So it's like, oh, your hemorrhoids flaring up. It must be rectal cancer. Or like you get some other issue. Oh, it must be cancer there. It's just my mind. Like even with Ethan, if you go back and you listen to the episode with Ethan when he talks about how he was, in his head, he was going to hurt himself so that he can go to the ER and tell them to like scan his brain. It's just you have to recognize that that's the OCD and try. I guess for me, the exercise with that ERP is which exposure response prevention would be to set aside a certain amount of time, 30 minutes to an hour, and think, okay, what if it is cancer? It is cancer. Let the anxiety build up, and then stop that thought process and just let it come back down. And eventually, you'll habituate yourself to that anxiety, so you won't be so anxious afterwards.
Yeah.
So like if it does flare up again, I can be like, okay, I know it's not that, and be fine. But it's kind of hard to do that. I haven't been practicing as much as I preach.
Right. I mean, I feel like we all feel like we don't practice as much as we preach.
Yeah. Like even I went to my therapist last time, and she was like, well, you know what you need to do. It's like, yeah, but I just haven't done it yet. She's like, well, you need to. And I think we talked about this last time. Well, not last time, maybe a couple episodes ago, where I had shared a video of somebody saying, he went to a therapist and he's talking about like, oh, I do this for this person, I feel this way. She said, well, what about you? I had my first moment with that with my therapist the last session. She's like, well, how are you processing your mom's death? And I was like, well, I mean, I just am. And then I focused more on how Core is dealing with it, what I'm doing for her, how it's affecting her, and how her school is, and how she's struggling with reading and math, and and how I'm helping her, taking her to a therapist to talk about somebody with it. She was okay. Well, it's great that you're doing all that for her. What are you doing for you? No, I haven't thought about myself. I'm more focused on getting Cora through it than I am myself. For me, it's just
Right.
I'm just what I process how I process. Like it is what it is. I can't change it. It's just it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But like you said, you have things you need to do.
Yeah.
And it's easy to not do those things. It's easy to get in your own way and having COVID and like having that mental battle there, it's like I'm sure it could freeze you up, like just make you not.
It did, especially that first day. I was pretty freaked out. Like I was talking to some other people, and they're like, you have all 3 shots. Your symptoms aren't bad. Even talking to the doctor, I go, I just called you out of precaution so you guys would know that I have it. See what if there's anything you want to give me. And he's like, well, even if because so I talked to him about my mom, and he's like, well, she's still there with you spiritually. I mean, because of that, you got your vaccines, you've been masking up, you've been doing all this, and now you're not gonna have the bad symptoms because of it.
So have you been having like the health OCD around the COVID stuff?
Not so much because of COVID. I think it's been going on since my mom passed. It's just initially it was
Okay.
like that weird hyper awareness thing that I had going on that I talked about in that video, which is gone now.
Yeah.
It was like a weird panicky attack kind of thing where became hyper aware of everything. Like when you
Yeah.
think about how
And
your tongue fits in your mouth, you become hyper aware of your tongue. It was like that, but with everything. It was a real odd feeling there, and it was freaking me out for a while, and it just eventually went away.
I'm glad it went away. And so did you do any ERP with that, or did you just kind of let it
I
run its
don't even
course?
know what the ERP would be with that to try and not be hyper aware of everything.
Right.
It
Yeah.
just kind of went away on its own because that's something that it's come up before and it just kind of fades off onto its own once I stop focusing so much on it. Because what with me when I when something is wrong, I put the OCD. It's the one thing that's in a loop in my head. Like say like right now, this knuckle's messed up and I'll constantly think about that knuckle or something like that. Like I'll
Right.
sit there be playing a little bit, and then randomly a loop will start. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? So I'll start moving it and messing with it, and of course, by messing with it, it gets worse. And then when it gets worse, I sit there and think about, oh, it's getting worse, it's getting worse. And as they keep messing with it, and it keeps getting worse because I'm fucking with
Yeah.
it.
It'd be like that sometimes.
And in that case, the ERP would be to be think about the worst case scenario, what it could be, and habituate to it, and realize it's not that. It's like my sore knuckle's not going to kill me.
Right. Right.
And then eventually, it's just like I don't even feel it anymore because it was nothing. It was in my head, and then I made my own problem out of nothing.
Yay. Brain.
You ever talk about cutting it off?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what happened?
And then you tell Megan, and she talks about cutting it off. Do you want me to cut it off? No.
I like that.
Like she would do that to Cora, and Cora got so scared one time. I was like, "You gotta stop doing that to her." I got a bug bite on my foot, and she would tell us like 30 times. And Megan, because I know she has OCD too. And then Megan will be like, "Let me cut it off." And probably, no. So you gotta stop doing that to her. She's gonna tell people. Like she told somebody had asked her, "What do you do?" And Megan's like, "Oh, I stab people," meaning she gives people the vaccines at work.
Right.
And
Right.
then Cora was like, "You stab people?" So I was like, you can't tell her that because she's gonna go tell people at school that you stab people.
Hold on one second. What are you trying to tell me?
Can he edit this?
Yeah, but we really didn't want to, so make it quick.
7:30, do you want it? Do you
No.
want me to- Okay.
No. World.
Thank you, Donna.
Sorry. I'm trying to,
She's trying to score me a piece of glass from one of my favorite glass blowers. And that's Donna's pregnant belly. That's my baby's head in there.
down in the mouth.
Oh, so
Down in
there's
the
like
mouth.
He's like here somewhere. Yeah, we just had a doctor's appointment today, or actually a midwife appointment. And she is 22 weeks pregnant and she is measuring 23 weeks.
Ooh.
So I don't really know what that means in actual
It means
reality.
dad has a big head and the baby's gonna have a big head too.
Dude, you keep saying that shit. You're doing it. Like
Megan knows the
I
problem.
mean,
Megan knows that too. I got a big old head. Cora's got a big old head. Cora came out of Conehead.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a baby with a big head, but you never know.
Robbie's mom keeps saying, well, Robbie was so little. He was the smallest one. But
Yeah, apparently I was 7 pounds, 6 ounces.
I was like 10 pounds.
No shit.
The doctors called me Moose.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just an average little baby.
I was and still am a little fat ass.
Yeah, yeah. I turned huge in life, As a baby, I was a little guy. You're a baby, aren't you? Yeah. You're a good boy. I love it when she comes in here though, because then the dogs come in and then they want to see me. So then they come and sit by my feet and I'll pick them up. And then you have a little empanada head.
And you guys just did some car shopping too here recently, didn't you?
Yeah, we were doing car shopping for my nephew.
Yeah. I saw the post. He got a nice looking little car, man. He posted about it.
Yeah, the 2019 VW Jetta. Yeah, it's super stoked, man. I'm glad to see that kid in a car that is actual, reliable.
Yeah.
Because he was driving around an 06 Infinity that had an engine swap before he even got it. So it was already kind of broken. And dude, it was one of those cars that you had to pay attention.
Oh, I've had that car before.
Right? Like driving that thing was weird. Starting it was weird. It was
I had a Ford Focus that was constant problems. So it wasn't until somebody else started driving it, and then it had constant problems. Water pump, serpentine belt, the door handle stopped working, spark plugs went bad. It was just one thing after the other. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, he got to a point where it started the transmission started going really stupid and leaving him on the side of the road for a little bit. He would get away with turning it off and then turning it back on. But yeah. Now he's got himself a 2019 that runs like a champ.
Yeah, you've seen our new car. That's the newest car that I've ever owned. It's the newest car ever that I've owned. They're usually super old or just shitty.
Well, once again, there's another good thing that happened in a shit year,
Yeah.
And I feel like if we're speaking universally, I feel like the universe definitely will give us great things in the midst of shitty things. I got my house the same month that my dad died, it was oh wow, this house is great. And now I have a place to live that I own. Yay. And it's yeah, but your dad is never going to see it, and
Yeah.
It was a cool balance, but it was a weird balance,
And I mean, with how things are now, Cora went to tutoring one day and I forget what I had to do. I had something else I had to do. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, can you take her to tutoring and pick her up? Because her tutoring's on Saturday, Saturday mornings. He was like, sure, I'll do it. So he takes her and he picks up. I get a picture of her and him at McDonald's. And it took me back to when I used to have therapy as a kid, or whenever I would do go to the park or something with my grandpa. At the end, we'd always get McDonald's or we'd always get Taco Bell, just have fun doing that. And then I see that picture and smiling together. And I'm like, oh, she gets to experience that now. That's awesome. That's one of my favorite childhood memories was going to Taco Bell afterwards and me and my dad eating tacos and just, shooting the shit, whatever shit you can shoot to a 7 or 8 year old, but still.
Right. Right. Dude, 7 or 8 is like, that's my favorite age. Like, actually, little like, that's when my favorite age starts. Like
Mhm.
they can communicate with you better, They wipe their own ass, they feed themselves, they dress themselves, like there's a much more simple flow of life at that point. But you know, babies are cool, but like I like humans that I can interact with,
Yeah.
not cute little doll that you can say, "Oh, I love you." Yeah. And granted, like I'm gonna love my baby for sure, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just I like that age where you can communicate
I mean,
because
she asked for her first big present for Christmas because before we were all just kind of guessing at something. She actually asked for her big present
right,
this year, and she asked for a Nintendo Switch, which was awesome. Because that's something that me and her can do. Because usually it's like, oh, I like Barbies. I'm like, okay, I'll do that with you, I guess.
cool. I'll have a Barbie playtime with you.
But with this, I can be like, hey, you want to play Mario Kart or you want to play Super Smash Brothers? Yeah, so we'll sit there and we'll play. And I mean, that's creating memories for her. And that's something that I
Yeah,
enjoy doing too. So we can both enjoy doing that. Like I'll unlock characters and stuff for her.
yeah, yeah. Actually, the raving
Mhm.
rabbits from Rayman, uh, I got those on me because I used to play that game with my son all the time,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun.
I caught her in her first gamer rage moment. Because I have those. I know what those are. Like I
Yeah,
heard
everybody does. Yeah,
I'm out there cooking and then I can hear her yelling. So I creak open the door and she's on like cause it's a makeshift room, right? It's all like her TV's on this little folding table because that's I don't have a dresser or entertainment center or anything like that right now because that room is like an office. It's so small. But it's perfect for her. Anyway, I can see her on like shaking the table and the TV's going back and forth. And she makes this little face when she's mad that she thinks scares people. Like she sucks in her cheeks and all you see is her front teeth. Like and she's sitting there doing that face, shaking it back and forth. But and I see the TV moving and I go, you can't do that. You need to stop. Like, I understand the frustration. I've been there, but you can't
right.
do that.
Yeah, like yell or something.
Yeah.
Don't shake the TV, man.
You go, yell, you have like 1,000 stuffed animals on the bed. Punch one. Don't shake the
Right.
TV.
Yeah, yeah. Normal moment, improper way to handle it, kid.
Yeah.
Let's stop this.
Uh, um, I did have an idea of what I want to fill this side with,
Uh-huh.
and I'll tell you the story behind it. It's a weird thing to throw at the end of this episode. It should have been at the beginning, but whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, things happen in life.
Yeah, I there was a night Cora got sick, and it was like I don't know a week ago. But yeah, after Christmas, when she had gotten sick and then Megan had gotten sick. Um, she was in
And
her
then I
room.
had gotten sick.
Then you got to say that everybody kind of continued to get sick. Um, she was in her room. She had a fever, but it wasn't COVID because we all got tested. And I come in here and I lay down, I go to sleep. And in my dream, it's weird. Like I'm on like a balcony type thing, but it's inside looking over the stairs that are coming up. And I see this, it looks like a classic ghost, kind of like that, but with no eyes. And it's gold. It's an all gold, like a gold sheet kind of thing. And it was coming up the stairs and it had a gold halo. And I didn't see facial features or anything. I knew it was my mom. And she's coming up and then she gets onto the landing and Cora's bed is in the middle of the floor over there. And she comes up to me and she's like, don't worry about Cora. I got Cora. She goes, you and Megan go do your thing. And then it cuts to like, I don't know, a couple minutes later or something. And I'm sitting next to her and we're sitting there talking. And I'm just dicking around with like this, it's like a hose. And I'm picking up clothes with it. And I'm like, look, Mom, I'm picking up clothes with the hose. um, but then that was it. But like it stuck with me and it still sticks with me. I just want to get like a classic ghost kind of thing with no eyes, just gold, like yellow with white specks, I guess. I want it to be kind of gold and have a halo.
I dig it. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
just something that kind of stuck with me. The first
Yeah.
kind of the first dream that I've had about her since. And like my aunt, one of my great aunts was like when she was, that the day that we devented, the shit people say to you to try and make you feel better in the situations, just not realizing what they're saying. It's just that verbal diarrhea. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, well, you do paranormal stuff. You'll talk to her again one day." I was like, "That's not what I want to fucking hear." But I appreciate the
Yeah.
thought, I guess.
Well, I tried to talk to my dad with you through
Yeah,
paranormal stuff, and it didn't happen.
you
So
got somebody else though.
yeah, that was somebody that had nothing to do with any of us. And I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, you're not my dad. I don't want to talk to you. But yeah, it's odd the things people will say when you're going through loss and they think they're helping, and it
I
doesn't
mean,
always.
in that time, I just copy and pasted the phrase, "Thanks, I appreciate it." So I was getting thousands of messages and just paste, paste.
Yeah.
I really, I appreciate the thought. It's just
You know, after going through my leg stuff, I realized there's just some times where you just don't want to talk.
yeah,
And now, like when somebody hits me up, or like people used to hit me up when I was going through it, and they'd be like, "Look, you don't have to respond." And I totally understand the power in that now. Like
yeah,
another friend of mine's mom has just passed away, and I texted her and I was like, "Look, you don't have to respond. I loved your mom. She was a wonderful person. I only got to meet her once, and she made a huge impact on me, and I love her. And she'll be missed, and you're loved." And yeah, what do you say to somebody? You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, and on the receiving end of that, you're like, "Hey, thanks. I'm gonna go and try not to want to die now.
Yeah.
See you later." So it's weird, man. Emotions are an odd thing, an odd thing.
Like I was going through a rough time after that with my OCD and my mental state. It was something else. Like I was just like it was a big haze, like a fog in my head. And we had gone to SeaWorld not too long after that. And it was us, me, Megan, Cora, our family, and my friend Jackie's mom was there. And she's a really cooler lady. And we're sitting there, we're in line for one of the roller coasters, and we're just sitting there talking. And like I say something, and she's like, "I didn't know if you were going to want to talk about it or not." So we sat and talked with her for a while, and it helped me feel a lot better. Like she's one of those people that you just talk to, and you'll feel better like that. So afterwards, I was like, "Can you tell your mom that I really appreciate it? It helped me get out of my haze that day."
And it's weird, like you don't know who's gonna help you.
Yeah,
You don't know how it's gonna get better. And then all of a sudden, when you're at your lowest, you have an impromptu conversation sometimes, and boom, it fixes
yeah.
that moment.
It
I
fixed it
had
that for that day. I mean,
that moment.
the next day
Yeah.
is always another battle. And
I mean,
like
shit,
we,
it doesn't even have to fix the whole day.
yeah.
It can just be a couple minutes.
Fuck, even in like a couple minutes of clarity, and when you're doing something like that, is a blessing.
Yeah.
And we talk about the universe sending you shit that you need.
Yep.
Like I don't know if it was the day that she passed or the next day. I went into a panic attack. Like I went to go take a shower, and I became hyper aware of everything. Like became hyper aware of my arms, my thoughts, my inner monologue, everything. And I said, "I'm gonna take a shower." I go to take a shower thinking that'll make it better, which it doesn't, because now I'm in an isolated area with my thoughts racing and me not being able to stop my thoughts. And so I get out of the shower and I told Megan, can you just come sit with me for a minute? So she sits with me. I tell her what's going on, and she cuddles me or whatever. And eventually, I'm able to calm myself down. And I call my employee assistance program people, and they're like therapists that they like Cigna or whoever has. So I call, like, "Oh, we put out the emergency message, a therapist to get right back with you." Nobody called me. But I was able to calm myself down. And shortly after, a buddy that I hadn't talked to in like 5 years calls me out of nowhere. And he was just like, "Yeah, I got the feeling I needed to call you, so I called you."
Yep.
I just
Dude,
sat
one
there.
time I was, oh, God.
I was just saying, I sat there talking to him for like an hour, and then afterwards I was in a better state. Still, that kicked off the whole mental fog, but
Right.
I was able to get clarity after that for a while at least.
Yeah, dude. It's cool when that happens. Like when I was going through my leg stuff, my friend Gentle J, he calls me up and he is nowhere near gentle. He is very abrasive. But he's one of those people that he's got a really big heart and he doesn't show that to everybody. And he called me up and he's like, dude, you know, you're not a shitty person. You just got a shitty outlook. He's like, stop worrying about everything so much. And I'm like, whoa. Like, just out of nowhere, this dude calls me and like just drops some really like gnarly science on me, that shit that I know, shit that I fucking teach other people, shit that I comfort
Exactly.
other
Yeah.
people with. But like, I mean, yeah, exactly. You do the same thing. You help so many people with all the things that you know to help you through life. But when it's time for you, you're like, oh yeah, I gave away all my help. Sorry. Can't help you, bud.
Yeah, it's like those memes that I send out. It's me helping other people with their mental issues, just being kind and gentle, and then me with my own. It's just like punching yourself and everything's on fire.
Right. Yeah. No, dude. It's totally true. Like one of the things that since I came back from that Tony Robbins thing, I've been doing a morning ritual of breathing and gratitude and sending love. And I'll do some breathing exercises and I'll just say thank you to a specific person or a group of people or like my prosthetic or, I can usually hear my waterfall in my pool running and I'm like, oh, what a nice pool. I'm glad I have this. Like I'll thank the universe for, 3 different things or groups of things. And then I'll send love to these things and to 3 different things. And today, and then I usually end it by sending a little bit of love to myself. And, just as a good, just build that self-love stuff. And today I was like, you know what? I deserve a whole slot, like instead of doing 3 people and then, I offer the world and the universe and everything inside love. And then like, I'll give myself love at the end. This time I was like, nah, I'm going to do like 2 people, the universe, and then I need to be the 3rd person. And I really need to soak this in. I need this right now. And, really weird when you can acknowledge how much you need that love, and then it's really cool to be able to give yourself that love.
Yeah.
Or love or whatever it is, love, grace. Just instead of constantly punching yourself
Yeah.
and saying "grow the fuck up, you asshole," you're like, "Hey, buddy, I love you. You're good people," which is exactly what you would do to everyone else.
Yeah.
So,
and just looking for the opportunities to help anybody really. Like we were going to a reptile show. It was like a month ago.
Yeah.
Like a month ago, and we went to Wawa. And I'm sitting there. I'm ordering my breakfast sandwich, and I'm trying to cut my portions down because, as I spoke earlier, I'm a fat ass kid. So I'm trying to cut portions down. And I ordered I ordered a breakfast sandwich, and it cut like at Wawa. He ordered the panini. It's a big ass panini. It's like I don't want to eat this whole thing. So I get to the car, and as I'm ordering, I see this guy come in, and he's picking through his stuff and seeing how much stuff is, and then I would watch him at the thing out of the corner of my eye that he's trying to order a sandwich and seeing how much he has. So I order mine. I go outside. I'm like, Cora, do you want half the sandwich? I don't want that. Because Cora's picky. She's like, you got that on it. I don't want onions. So I see this guy come out. I see him come out with nothing, and I'm like, hey, do you want half the sandwich? Because I'm not going to eat the other half. I'm just gonna throw it away. He's like, I wasn't able to get it, so I'll take it. So, here, take it. So I was able to help him with something that I didn't even want to begin with. So here you have it. Maybe brighten his day a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, dude. You know what, man? The universe, it does things for all of us. One of the things that I got from that Tony Robbins thing that really stuck with me. I wish it stuck with me all the time when I'm being cranky and stupid in my brain. But one of the things is everyone is on your team. And in the smallest way or the largest way, everyone's on your team. You know, even the ones that don't seem like they are, they're teaching you. You know, no matter what, in some way or another, everyone's on your team. Everyone's playing on your team, and it's a cool thing to think about. So yeah, just a little tidbit there from my
Yeah.
brain.
Like we were in Virginia, and there was this guy that was always on this corner. And every time I saw him, if I had something, I'd give him some food. And then somebody was asking, "Why do you keep giving him stuff? He's out there every day." Because obviously he's struggling with something. If whatever I can give
Right,
him
yeah,
makes him smile for like 10 minutes, that's fine with me. Like a little brightness
yeah,
in his day, that's fine.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Give what you got because somebody might not got that,
Like,
you know.
like you never know what somebody's going through. I mean, kindness is important. Because somebody could be struggling, and you could be the straw that breaks the back, or you can be the straw that helps rebuild that bridge.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Fuck yeah, man. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start making myself some dinner. So
Enjoy your 10 o'clock dinner.
yeah, right.
I'm gonna go ahead and try start editing this now since I didn't want to edit it, but there's somebody had to interject there.
I mean, we really don't even have to edit that part out. It
I'll
doesn't
just,
matter to me.
I'll just leave it in there. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man. Thanks for coming. I always like when you come in and you know, just kind of share bits of your journey.
Mm,
Uh, I know every time you're on a video, people from your circle and my circle benefit from it. So,
mhm.
you know, thanks for always being so transparent about life because it's not easy for a lot of people to do this stuff. So,
The only way to remove the stigma around mental health is to talk about it.
yeah, absolutely.
Because then you real people like this is how I opened up about it. I saw Ethan talking about it, and I saw what the IOCDF does. So once I finished, my mental breakdown, I was like, I want other people to not struggle as much as I have throughout the years. So I'll talk more about it myself.
Yeah.
What
Well,
my
that's how I
struggles been
started.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
I'm gonna do it.
that's how I started this. I was,
Dysmorphia.
What?
was that?
I'm gonna do an episode on body dysmorphia.
She wants to do an episode on body dysmorphia. I know Donna's talked about that before too.
Absolutely.
That could
Yeah.
be their women's episode.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. I think it's a great idea because whew, that's a thing.
I go through it too.
Yeah, same, dude. Like I'm at this weird point now because I've been, you know, hitting the gym heavy
Mm.
and doing the majority of my food right. I struggle with snacking at the end of the day. Um, it's weird. Like I'll fucking kill it all day long and then I'll be hungry. And in the middle of cooking, I'm like eating cheese and crackers and pepperoni, you know, eat a handful of cereal and then eat a cookie or three. And before you know it, it's like, man, fuck. But like I keep seeing myself accidentally in video or in the mirror and be like, wow, that dude isn't so bad. You know, like just little bits here and there that I catch. And I'm like, oh, you're actually doing something. You're not this like gargantuan,
Yeah.
fucked up, gross thing that you always tell yourself you are. So it's interesting how much negative we can have on ourselves.
Yeah. And
Other
for
people-
sure. And for those watching this, be sure to watch next week when you'll see last week's video that we recorded.
Yeah.
Because we still have to edit that one. That one requires some editing.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah. Fucking so yeah, and if you liked any of these videos, as always, please like, share, subscribe. And look through the Rad Movement channel and I touch on a lot of topics, we touch on a lot of topics. So yeah, we're here to help. You know, that's what I was saying earlier. I started the Rad Movement at my lowest. You know, I really wanted to kill myself and I Googled how to be happy. And then I found Brendan Burchard, who was taught by Tony Robbins. And like, you know, I just really started imbibing all this stuff. And I'm like, well, these guys are great, but people will hear it differently in our circles if they hear it from us.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's nice to go through things and share you're going through. Like I was just telling everybody at the shop meeting the other day, I'm like, thanks guys for, you know, having grace with me, because yes, I know I'm the guy that has the rad movement, and I know I talk about a lot of the topics. You know, like communication is a major problem at work sometimes.
Everywhere.
And you know, that got brought up, right? Yeah, and that got brought up at the shop meeting. And you know, I was like, look, just because I do videos on this stuff, it's because I'm going through it, not because I fucking am great at it. You know, so please accept me for being human, and I appreciate y'all for having grace with me for being a human, because sometimes I feel like I fucked myself by doing this motivational stuff, because I'm like, man, when you're having a bad day, you know, you're like, shit. But that's exactly why I do it. One of the main reasons why, because, well, it's going to hold you accountable. And if you don't hold yourself accountable, somebody that watches your videos at some point is going to hold you accountable. And it's nice to have that accountability to myself and to the community. But, you know, I'm glad we're talking about this, because one thing I want to let the community know is we're not perfect by any means. Just because we do this rad movement stuff doesn't mean we're even good at some of the shit we're talking about. A lot of the shit we talk about is because we're bad at it, and we want to get better.
Like ERP is the gold standard to treat OCD. Doesn't mean I like doing it, or that I do it as often as I should.
Well, meditation, exercise, eating right, like those are things, those are gold standard in living any life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, I get good at, like, you know, I'll do a bunch of sleep meditation, but like I won't do like meditation while I'm awake, or, you know, I'll like read a bunch of books and then I'll stop reading books for a while, and then I'll wonder why my mental health is declining. You know, like it's interesting how the little things you do every day compound to make you better.
Speaking of books, I got a book you should read. I'll let you borrow it. It's called House of Leaves.
Okay, cool. What's it about?
It's like two books in one. It's the main story, and then the footnotes are about a guy who found the story and is finding it piece by piece, and how he's slowly going insane as he finds it. But it's about a house that's bigger on the inside than it is the outside, and he notices like little bits at a time. And then he ends up finding like stairwells that go on for months to get down, and he tries to explore the house, and they find creatures and shit. It's crazy. And like some of the pages are just like words going in a spiral. It keeps your attention, that's for sure.
I like it. I like to read, so that sounds good. Oh yeah. Well, Chad and Megan, thank you guys for being a part of today's episode. Even though, you know, Megan was sitting there.
And she can't even hear you because I got the headphones in.
I know. I keep talking to her and I'm like, oh yeah. I wonder why she's not interacting.
I wanted to be a part of it.
Well, so did Donna. So you guys both had your little parts. But I love you guys both. Please tell Megan I said that.
We love you guys too.
And you know, once again, thanks for being honest and open and all the things.
That's my light too. I got a heart light.
Yeah, I keep seeing it in the
window back there.
Yeah. Because I have that heart light in the tattoo room. So I'm like, I wonder if that's the heart ring light I have. But yeah, dude, always fun talking, always good catching up. And thank you for being so open and honest with your shit, because shit's hard to talk about for some people. Not for us. We can fucking air it out fine. But yeah.
And thanks to anybody who stuck through this whole conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Because sometimes we get a little rambly.
Yeah.
But you know, if you did find any value, like I said before, like, share, subscribe, please. And if none of that, just go and look at some of the other videos. If anything in here helped you out, I guarantee you other videos that we've made will.
Especially the mental health of Ethan. That one's got our most views and our most listens on Anchor. And that's the one I've gotten most comments about too.
Awesome. Fuck yeah. Well, please share your journeys with us in the comments, and share our journeys with yourself by watching. Much love. We're rad, and so are you. Thank you very much. You guys are great. And we will see you next week.
All right.